What I want to talk about in this video is just a couple knots that will help you in the long run. They're very simple, and I think a lot of people get caught up on just knowing tons of knots, and you can just know a few that will do as many as the other ones will do. So there's probably about 5 knots here that are very simple to tie, and I'll go ahead and show you guys how to tie them individually. And we'll set up a quick emergency shelter with those knots, and I just want to show you them in the most simple form so you guys can get them down pat and be able to set an emergency shelter up in probably 2 minutes if you leave the knots all connected to it. So let me get this camera adjusted and we'll go ahead and get the knots started. You're going to have to tie is called the bowline knot. It's very useful for tons of applications, from rescuing just to tie ridge lines up, which is my favorite, and the best part, it comes out super easy. So I have 25 foot of 550 cord. You'll need 25 foot for this. And one end of it, all you want to do is make a twist in it, like that. There's your tag. So just come in, make a twist. And the best way I like to think about this is, here's a rabbit right here. The rabbit, looking at it like this, comes out of the hole. Here's your tree right here. Comes around the tree and goes right back down in that hole. And when you go to tighten this, grab this one and your tag and pull. And it should leave you a knot just like that. And as much tension as I put on this, which will have not too much tension on it, it'll come right out. So let's tie it again. Make a simple twist in it. Think of this as a rabbit. The rabbit comes out of the tree, or out of the hole, excuse me, around the tree. And you just want to take that and put it straight back in the hole. Grab both of these and pull. And right there, you have a bowline. Now what I have here is my 25 foot length of 550 cord. And what you want to do with this is set this up to your waist height. You don't want it no higher than that, because you want this suited to your size. So I'm just going to come around the tree. And this is the bowline knot right here. You just want to feed the rest of it straight through that bowline and pull. And essentially what you're doing is you're tying a self-tightening knot, which will come out super easy, and I'll show you that. Just pull it all through there, and all you're going to do is pull that up, stand up, measure it to your waist, which just needs to come up just a tad, and it'll tighten on there, and that's perfect. And your bowline's right there, and this will hold one part of your ridge line. Very nice and easy, and all you have to do to get it out is just pull this line through there and pull it around the tree, and it's off. Okay, now what we want to tie is called a trucker's hitch. So what you want to do is you have your bowline end on that side down there tied up against the tree. Take this end, come around the tree at waist height. Make sure it's waist height so that it stays level, so you have a nice even shelter. And when you come around that tree, you want to measure 1 arm length out, is what I like to do. Maybe just a little bit more. So I want to come out here, take a bite in that line, come up, make a loop like that. Now your bowline's down there, so you want to face that loop towards the bowline, come under the line, and feed it right back through that loop you created, so that it creates a slip knot, a slip type of knot. Then come back around that tree at waist height, so it stays nice and even. And you want to take this end around here that you pulled around the tree, feed it through that loop. And when you feed it through that loop, you should be able to pull, and it's going to create a nice pulley system there. And when you have that to the tightness you want, you can crank this down to max. And you just want to pinch this one and this one together, these 2 lines together. Grab a loop like this, go over and grab just a little bit of that line and pull up against that knot. Now you have a loop which you will connect one of your grommets of your space blanket to, and you have a really tight line. What I have here is just a SOL emergency blanket, emergency space blanket. You can get the grabber one. It's a 5x7 It's space blanket. It's not really a tarp. It's not super durable, but it will do the job in an emergency, which this is what this shelter's for. And then I have 4 ABS plastic stakes. You can use sticks too, toggles, whatever. It doesn't matter. But if you have this for emergency, you probably might as well carry them because they don't weigh nothing, and they'll work very well. So I want to unfold this and lay it long ways where there's a grommet here. This is one corner of the grommets. What you want to do is that trucker's hitch you created. All you want to do is take that, feed it through that grommet right there. Feed it through that grommet. Put a stake in it, and you want these pointed ends facing down and the hooks, so this will hook it so it won't come out, and just tighten that down up against it. And now you have one end tightened up against this corner, and you just have to have a prusik over there, which I'll show you, and then you can stake the backs ends down and you'll be set to go. The next knot you will need to know is called a fisherman's knot or a necklace knot. People call it different things, but basically I have about a foot of bank line here. You want it to be a small diameter. I do, because you can fit it through the grommets better compared to like paracord. And if you get like the grabber space blankets, the grommets are small, so you want to be able to make sure you can fit this through a grommet, and I'll show you why. So what you want to do is pretty much just take the ends like this and just grab and tie an overhand knot right around it. You just want to tie an overhand knot like that. And I like to make sure these ends are pointing away. Works better. So you just want to go around it, back through the top there, and straight through, and then you pull them together and they'll tighten together. And you will tie a prusik with this, and you know you have it right when you can just grab those two ends and they'll pull apart. So I'll go ahead and pull these apart and tie it one more time, so I'm sure you guys are understanding this. So just grab it like this, one end over the other, come over top of that end, just like that, and feed it right back through that loop. And pull it, and it's just an overhand knot around it. Come around this, pull it right through there, and then you pull them together, and right there is your fisherman's knot or your necklace knot. Now what we want to tie is called a prusik. Here's our fisherman's knot, or a loop, and here's our 5/50 quarter ridge line. You just want to come around the back, grab this, come around the back, and I want to keep this knot on the side. Some people like the bottom, it doesn't matter. Just make sure this knot goes through up this loop, up on this loop 3 times. Just go 1, 2, 3. Has to go through there 3 times to make a proper prusik loop, or to make a prusik. Tighten them down. Sometimes this can be a trick, but it should just come right like that. And just make sure they're neat. A neat knot's a good knot. Go ahead and zoom in on that for you a little bit. As you can see, there's 3 coils. You want 1, 2, or excuse me, I mean 6 coils. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 coils there. That's what you want to see. And it works a lot better with a smaller rope, like the bank line, on a thicker diameter. And what this does is, you can scooch it up and down the line, but as soon as you pull to the side, it bites into this rope, and you will be able to secure something or a grommet to it, which I will show you next. Okay, for the back ends of this space blanket, you got a couple more of those necklace knots or fisherman knots. You just have to make a loop. It doesn't have to be that knot, but it seems, why would you use different knots for everything when you can just use the same one? So you got that, and what you're going to do here is, it's called a cow's hitch or lark's head. Like I said, many people call it different things. Just take a loop of that, feed it up through this grommet here, and just take this end and pull through. And what that does, it creates a loop which you can pull against, and grab one of your ABS plastic stakes and just pull, and you can stake it out. Now what you want to do is, since you have your loops on both ends, you just want to pull it taut, nice and taut, and put these stakes in always at a 45-degree angle. You don't want it straight up and down, you want it at a 45, and just push them down in there. and get a baton or a mallet or something and pound them in. Come here, pull up against it, keeping it taut and going in at a 45-degree angle. When you have those secure, you can come back and adjust this one. Sometimes you have to do that just to get the right tightness. And when you have them in, you'll have a nice shelter to cozy down in, get through the storm or whatever you're getting through. Okay, the knots we used for this shelter were pretty simple. The first one we used was a bowline knot, which was just securing it around the tree down there. Just a very simple knot, which is very versatile in many ways. The second knot we used was a trucker's hitch, which was to secure this ridgeline very taut. Very simple knot there and very useful, many applications. The next knot we used was a necklace knot, which was to make that loop. You can use other knots, but I like the necklace knot. Very versatile. And then we made a prusik, which was the fourth knot, which was to tighten this other side. And the fifth knot we used, you can use any knot, it doesn't matter, you can just tie it to the grommets, but we used a lark's head or a cow's hitch, which is 5 knots total, to secure the back ends so we could stake them out and have a shelter as taut as we could keep it. So this emergency shelter is very simple to do, very quick. Keep all these knots on here. You probably set it up in a minute and a half when you get really good at it. So, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you guys found this very useful.